Hey, hey, hey. That's just wear the shirt the other night. I probably did. Whatevs. I just wanted to go live really quickly because I know some of you guys are struggling with a concept that I just posted, how debt freedom does not equal wealth. So I kind of wanted to break it down, Julie Brown, good night, wubba wubba. Some of y'all don't even know what that means because you're not 40. You need to be grown. So, yeah, I want to talk about that. So I did a podcast called Earn Your Leisure where I posted that debt freedom does not equal wealth. You can check it out. So I wanted to explain what that means because I know there's some hardcore fans of a particular financial guru. Shout out to him. And he's all about debt freedom. And I believe in debt freedom too, sis. I think debt freedom is awesome. I just think that it should not be your main goal. It should be a goal. Let me break it down. Okay? So here's what I mean about debt freedom doesn't equal wealth. Because you can be debt free and still have no wealth. I give an example all the time of my nephew Roman. Roman is 4. Roman doesn't have any debt. He doesn't owe any credit card debt. He doesn't owe any student loan debt. He doesn't owe any car loan debt. But guess what? Roro, that's what we call him. Roro broke. Roro is broke. Roro is broke. Roman has no debt. And yet Roman is broke. Imagine that. How is it that Roro with no debt is broke? But isn't debt freedom, well, debt free, we are sorry to, no. Debt freedom is a result, well, should be to me a result of growing wealth. And here's the thing, was in that space where I was like, my only goal was debt freedom. And let's be clear, I'm debt free right now. So I'm not anti-debt free, obviously. I live in this house, guess what? Paid off. Renovated this house, guess what? Paid for it. My husband and I have a rental property, guess what? Paid. Renovating that rental property, guess what? In cash. Even my parents' home last year, I wanted my mom to be able to retire early, guess what? Paid it off. Student loan debt, $50,000, guess what? Paid it off. So I'm not anti-debt free. I believe in debt freedom. But I realized the trick to getting all the things was to pivot my thinking. And that's what I want. We're all grown. So I'm not your financial guru. I'm your financial what? Girlfriend. Here's the trick to pivoting. So I had credit card debt. It was like 10 years ago. I owed like $35,000 and I was really aggressive with paying it off, meaning the minimum plus as much as I could put toward it. But that's a good thing. Credit card debt, the interest rate is typically double digits. It's high. It's expensive debt. You should aggressively pay down credit card debt, right? So I was paying. We're talking about debt freedom and wealth. Hey, Claire, is that Claire? And so we should pay down credit card debt aggressively because it's expensive, right? Double digits, typically 10, 20, sometimes 30% your credit card debt. So that's a good thing. Pay it down aggressively. And then once I had paid off my credit card debt, I had student loan debt. And I was like, bet, Tiffany, we're about to pay off the student loan debt, aggressive. So I couldn't afford the student loan debt before, so I had it in forbearance. And this is when I was building the Budgetnista. And I was like, wait, is that the right thing to do? Because I owed $52,000 in student loan debt. I owed $35,000 in credit card debt. It took me like 3.5 years, maybe 4 years to pay that off. And I said, well, dang, if that took 3.5, 4 years to pay it off, the student loan debt's probably going to take me, I don't know, another 3 or 4 years to pay it off. And I was just starting the Budgetnista, and it was like a light bulb went on because I was anti-debt, and I still am anti-debt. And so I decided, I said, I looked at the interest rate for my credit card debt. And at the time, the credit card debt that I was aggressively paying off was high. It was like, 15%, right? My student loan debt interest rate, 5%. I don't even think 5%, like under 5%. So I was like, should I aggressively be paying off low interest rate debt? Or should I aggressively now pivot and be working on wealth instead? And I was a little scared to do it because I've always been a debt pay down girl above all else, but I decided to pivot and aggressively invest in wealth. Now, for me, investing was my business. For some people, it's going to be entering into the stock market. For some people, it's going to be buying real estate. So investing looks like different things. Investing just means growing your money. So I decided I was going to, instead of being aggressive with paying down low interest debt, I'm going to be aggressive with earning And so that's what I did. So, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years in, I actually had made enough in the business to be able to write a full, instead of making payments to my credit card debt, to my student loan debt, I was able to write a full check of $52,000. Bam! There you go, Sally. Okay. Right? Roll up on me. I paid it off. And on top of that, not only did I have the $52,000 to pay down the debt, I also had money left over for a house. This house is $180,000 to $80,000. It was a foreclosure. And I had money for a renovation. Renovation about another $180,000. And I had money for my mama's house to pay it off. $120,000. You see what I mean? That in the pursuit of making wealth, growing my wealth, I was able to also achieve debt freedom. Does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? That I'm not saying, because people are like, oh, the person I follow said, pay off your debt no matter what. High interest rate debt? Absolutely. Low interest rate debt? Should you pay it off? Yes. But to me, I wanted to go live because I actually felt sad. There was a woman in the comments who said, I follow said person, and I didn't put any money in my 401k. I haven't set aside money for any sort of retirement. Instead, until I finished paying off my debt. My heart broke. I'm like, oh my gosh. Do you understand the disadvantage that she put herself in? Here's why that's the worst thing that she could have done. Because there's something called compounding interest, right? So the compounding growth is when you make money on the money. We'll use it for money. So let's just say I have $1 and I get 10 cents on that dollar. I get 10% every year on that dollar. So year one, I get $1.10. Year two, I get 10% on that $1.10. So let's just say that makes it $1.21. Year three, I get 10% on $1.21. Year four, I get 10% on $1.31. So what happens is you are earning interest on the interest. And the later you start, you don't get to collect that interest along the way. It's compounding is like like you can literally start to double your money in a few years with that. It's like magic compounding growth, right? So at first, like it seems like, actually, I'll give you a good example. So at first, it's like, oh, no biggie. I have a piece of paper. I'm going to fold it in half. No biggie. Doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay. Then you start to fold it. You're like, oh. So it's starting to compound because we're folding a folded paper. That's compounding because we're folding something that was folded. So I'm earning interest on something that already earned interest. Oh, okay. Doesn't seem that thick. Then all of a sudden, I'm folding the folded fold. Okay. All of a sudden, it's starting to get a little thicker. Then I'm folding the folded of the folded folded. All of a sudden, now it's starting to get thicker. It's only how many folds away? Let me show you, right? So look. Fold one. Fold two. Fold three. Four. Fold four. We already starting to get to a point where I almost can't fold no more. That's how compounding works. Now I'm folding. I'm like, ooh, okay, fold five. Okay. Look how thick already it's growing. Fold six. Look, that's it. I cannot fold this anymore. 6 folds in, and look how thick we've gotten. That's what compounding growth does. And if you wait to fold your paper, if you wait to start investing, you miss out on those early folds. You can't never get that back. You can never get these early folds back. You can only start up here. So it doesn't matter how much money she puts away, because she waited to put in her for set aside for retirement, because she was paying out all her debt first. It doesn't matter how much money she literally can never, ever, ever replace the money lost from not starting to fold early. You can literally put aside way little starting early and match someone who is starting late, who's putting away a ton of money a month because you started folding early. So you on fold 6, and fold 6 looking like this, and they still on fold 1. So no matter how much they put away, you can never regain the interest that you've lost. Do you understand? And so this is why it's dangerous. Extremes are dangerous, right? I don't believe in extremes. So when I see financial experts lean into extremes, never use a credit card, never pay out all your debt before you invest anything. Those are extremes. It's It's like when someone's talking to teenagers and we're like, we don't want you to get pregnant, right? And so abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. I agree that the best way to not get pregnant is abstinence. But we all know that some teenagers are going to experiment. So I think it's irresponsible to not give them other options to be safe. You know what I mean? I do, you know? And so what I'm here to do is to give you other options, because as an adult, I know you're not going to adhere. Most adults are not going to adhere to extremes, right? So I want that, yes, being completely debt-free, like maybe not using your credit. Yes, this is an extreme. But most people are going to fall somewhere in the middle. Are we going to leave you with no tools, no resources? Absolutely not. Not up in here, right? So I just share all that to say that, so that hurt my heart when I saw that she waited to pay down all her debt before investing in her future. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the worst thing, honestly. Because here's the thing too. The average market, the average the average yield of the stock market in a year is 7 to 8%. Now, and let's just say you look over a 10-year spread, because there are going to be some years where the market yields 30%, and there's going to be some years where the market yields negative 20%. But if they do an average, the stock market on average yields 7 to 8% a year. So let's just go with 7%. This is why I say I don't focus on paying off high interest rate debt. I'm not saying I don't pay it, but I pay it what's owed. Here's your minimum plus a little something, but I focus on growing wealth. Because if I owe 5% in a student loan, and I put all my energy, I'm gonna pay down that student loan, I could instead so what this is making me is 5% less broke. Or I could earn 7% here. So I can either not lose 5%, or I can earn 7% here. So I'm like, well, shoot, let me earn 7% here. And guess what? With the middle, if I earn 7%, I can then give this, it's 5, and I get to keep 2. But if all I ever do is pay down the 5, there's nothing left after that. There's nothing left for me. But with wealth, I get to focus on earning. I can out-earn what the debt is costing me. That's what I've been trying to say. Lord Jesus. That if the debt is low enough, you can out-earn what the debt costs you. So then not only can you take care of the debt, but you got a little something for you. Okay, I want you to have a little something for you. Okay. And so, so that's why I say, though, pay off high interest rate debt. Because it's going to be hard to out-earn. If your credit card debt is 20, 30%, remember I said the market yields on average 7 to 8%. So your credit card debt is 20, 30%. You're likely not going to make that investing in the stock market, 20, 30%. So it actually behooves you to pay off debt that's costing you 20, 30%, because you're likely not going to be able to out-earn that. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm trying to think what else. Someone said it perfectly, and I'm going to mess it up. She said, focusing on just paying off low interest rate, debt. It's like filling in a hole. I want you to imagine filling in a hole. You're like, ooh, I'm filling this hole. I'm filling this hole. I'm about to have no hole in my house. Look at this hole in the ground. We're about to fill it in, right? That's good, because nobody wants a holy ground, right? She said, but investing is like putting a tree in that hole. So not only is the hole filled, so not only do you get to be debt free, but the tree also bears fruit. Also, you get to eat additional fruit. You get to benefit from the growth. You see what I mean? So investing and learning how to invest in wealth means that you get a filled hole, you get debt freedom, as well as additional money for you. Okay. All right, I'm just looking at some of your things. Okay. And so, I just wanted to share that with you, because I just felt like people were having trouble with the debt free does not equal wealth, and focusing just on debt freedom. I'm not saying don't pay off your debt, because people are like, I can pay off my debt. Yes, you should pay off your debt. But what I am saying that it's a goal. It's not the goal. The goal should always be wealth, because you get all the things with wealth. Okay. All right. I don't want this video to be too long, because I want to post it on my page. I'll come back one day. I'll do a Q&A, because I know y'all got tons of questions. But it was late, and I was like, I am gonna save it. I'm gonna save it to my page. Okay. So when I save it, tag somebody in the comments so they could get their life. Like I said, I know they be dragging me sometimes, like, but he said, I'm like, well, just listen to him. I'm not dragging anybody because I live that life of debt freedom. But I'm just sharing that there are alternative ways to get there without delaying, like, you achieving your other goals. That is not the goal. It's not. I think I said Queen Latifah. Yikes! I am like, this is late. I was gonna say Mother Teresa. Meanwhile, Queen Latifah. How did I get those two confused? Mother Teresa said one time that she would never attend an anti-rally, like anti-war, anti-this, anti-that, but that she would go to a pro-rally. So meaning like pro-love, pro-peace. And so that's the difference. It's like, I want to go I want you to focus on the growth, not the, what's the opposite of growth? Not the loss, I guess. You know what I mean? I want you to focus on the wealth, focus on the movement forward so you can take care of all the things. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me go because I'm rambling. Okay, bye.